Right, so the semifinals of both the Copa America and the Euros have just been finished. Well, have just been completed. And we know our two finalists for both competitions. In the Euros, it's going to be Italy versus England. And in the Copa America, it's going to be Argentina versus Brazil. Interesting matches. By the way, I predicted all 4 of those teams to make it through and make it to the final. So, congrats. Congrats to me, I guess. But, I mean, that's besides the point. This video is all about just predicting what will happen in each of the finals and who I think will win the tournament. So, the Euro final, it's Italy versus England. Oh, this is a good one. It's a very, very tough final to predict, honestly. It's a final that's worth it. I think it's going to be very interesting. It's going to be well worked, and both teams deserve to be here. In my opinion, I think they both thoroughly deserve to be in position to hopefully win the tournament. Obviously, Italy have been on fantastic form in and out of the tournament. I mean, they've gone on such a long unbeaten run, while England, although they've struggled, they've played really well. I mean, in some matches at least. I mean, against Ukraine, arguably the best performance, but still, I mean, they've only conceded 1 goal this whole tournament. They've only conceded 1 goal, and although it was a pretty narrow victory against the Danes, still, I think England deserved to be in this position to win the tournament up against Italy. And Italy's a strong opponent, a very strong opponent. They were considered kind of the dark horses. I didn't consider them dark horses because they're a big nation, although they missed out in the World Cup 2018. That's besides the point. I still think they can't be dark horses because they're a big nation. Neither can England be a dark horse because, again, big nation. But with that being said, I think they're both fantastic teams who haven't conceded many goals. Italy have only conceded twice, I believe, either twice or 3 times. But with England, they've only conceded once, and that was against Denmark in the semifinals. That's their first time conceding. That means their defense has arguably been the best at this tournament. And no one really would have thought that. But still, the Italians are a unit. Same with England. I watched most of their matches and they played pretty well. Obviously, a few slips here and there, some mistakes that maybe shouldn't have happened. But I mean, they've rotated well. They have a wealth of talent on the bench. They can bring on at any moment and just change the game. And with that being said, I still think Italy are also just as good as England, if not better, because their wealth of talent on the bench and on the pitch is it's insane. Obviously, they lost Spinazzola, who was having a really good tournament due to injury, which is very unfortunate for them. But that being said, I still think they have a fantastic squad. I mean, Federico Chiesa, who's always ready and able to score a good goal. Donnarumma, who's picking up at the defense or just always blocking or making the saves that is required to make it this far. Of course, they beat Spain on penalties, and Donnarumma was the one who saved the penalty that helped Italy go through. Meanwhile, England, although they started off with not too many good goal scorers, now they have their potent striker back. He scored his 4th goal, that being Harry Kane. Raheem Sterling could have scored, and he technically scored. I mean, it was an own goal by Simon Kjær, but still, I mean, Harry Kane and Raheem Sterling have been the goal scorers for England, but you know many of the other players can also score. I mean, Jack Grealish, Jadon Sancho. I mean, we saw Harry Maguire and Jordan Henderson get on the score sheet up against Ukraine. Fantastic. And it's just, England have a wealth of talent with a bunch of youngsters, but they have a good mix of just maturity and not veterans per se, but experience. Meanwhile, Italy also have the same thing. Many good youngsters who have a lot of potential and great talent at the moment are performing well with a lot of depth in that defense and midfield and just attack with who are great veterans. I would say they are more experienced than the English players, but I mean, despite being their old age, I mean, I'm talking about early 30s, they're still fantastic. Think of Bonucci, think of Chiellini, think of Immobile. They've had a fantastic tournament despite being almost to their mid-30s. And it just goes to show that age doesn't matter, especially in this type of tournament. It's just one-offs, especially in the knockout tournament, in the knockout stages. It's fantastic. With that being said, I'm gonna start going into what I'm gonna predict for this final. I think it'll be a very interesting final. I keep saying that. I've said it for most of the knockout stages, but I mean, either way, this is gonna be my final prediction for the Euros, and then we'll go on to the full wrap-up. But anyways, Italy, England, who do I think will go through and win the whole tournament? Is it coming home, or is it coming to Rome? It's tough. I honestly don't know who I lean towards. I said it before that England was going to win it. I predicted Italy versus England in this final in my semifinal predictions, and I went with England, and I'm going to stick with it. England to win this tournament. Yeah. England to beat Italy in the final and win the Euros. Yeah. And just before I go into the Copa America, I think it's a time for a little change in shirts, by the way. Much better. All right. So, obviously I'm in the Barcelona jersey. Actually, my Messi jersey that used to hang up here, now it's the Licks. But either way, I'm wearing this jersey because it's Argentina versus Brazil in this Copa America final, and it's just, this one is going to be intense. Not interesting, not complicated. Well, yeah, it's going to be complicated and it is going to be interesting, but most of all, I think it's going to be very intense. Not only because it's two South American clubs and it always gets intense. Be prepared for many yellow cards and possibly a red card, or maybe even a few, because Argentinians and Brazilians do not get along when it comes to football, at least on the pitch. But anyways, Argentina versus Brazil, obviously Messi versus Neymar. It's just, wow, it's gonna be a brawl. It's gonna be a fantastic match. I think it's gonna end. There's gonna be a lot of goals. I think there's gonna be a lot of goals, and obviously I predicted Argentina to beat out Brazil. I think I predicted 3-2 to Argentina in my semifinals predictions. Am I gonna stick with that? We'll see. But I mean, Argentina, let's start off with them. They have a fantastic wealth of talent. And of course, I'm wearing the Barcelona jersey because there's a few Barcelona players that play for Argentina, mostly Messi and Kun Agüero. But anyways, Argentina, they have a solid squad. I mean, Emiliano Martinez, they're obviously their hero in the semifinals in the penalty shootout. 3 penalty saves. That's fantastic. Just absolutely fantastic. And Rodrigo de Paul, who has had a fantastic tournament despite missing his penalty in the semifinals. That doesn't matter. You can't take it away from him. He's had a fantastic tournament. And then even on the bench, Papu Gomez, who's also had a fantastic tournament. And I'm still surprised that he's not playing more minutes. The few minutes that he's had, he's gotten a goal or an assist or just overall played really well. So I mean, fantastic. He might even start in this final, but we'll see. Guido Rodriguez, who earned himself a spot. Otamendi, who I still don't really like. That's besides the point. And of course, their talisman, Messi, who's had a fantastic tournament. Obviously, the player of the tournament so far. He scored 4 goals and provided 5 assists in 6 matches. That's 9 goal involvements in 6 matches. Absolutely insane. Fantastic. Meanwhile, Brazil, they've also had a really good tournament so far. Of course, they haven't lost. They've won other games. And it's just, they have a fantastic squad as well. And they only have one Barcelona player. And he doesn't really play. But I mean, he's there. Emerson. And I hope he at least plays a few minutes in this final. But that's besides the point. Brazil just are gifted with so many fantastic players. And who have learned in the sort of samba style that Brazil have always played in. Thinking Neymar, Lucas Paqueta, who both have had a fantastic tournament. Neymar, I don't know the exact stats, but he's had a fantastic tournament. Lucas Paqueta, who, while not always showing up, he's provided some fantastic goals and some important ones as well. And also, while they haven't been the most convincing, Brazil are still a very strong squad, and they could definitely take the tournament again. I mean, they took it in 2019. They could definitely take it this year again. And it's tough. Brazil have a wealth, just have so much depth all around the pitch. They have 2 fantastic world-class goalkeepers who you could argue either of them could start. one playing for Liverpool, one playing for Man City. Alisson and Ederson. Either one can start for this fantastic squad. I mean, their midfield has so many great players. I mean, Fabinho, Casemiro, Lucas Paqueta, obviously, who's not shown the most at his club, in his national team. He's playing fantastically. And then Neymar and leading the line up top with Richarlison and Firmino and Everton, or Vinicius, who hasn't really shown up, but you never know. In this Copa America final, it's the Clash of Titans. I think it's a Clásico, I think that's what they're calling it. But besides that, it's gonna be a fantastic game, and I can't wait to watch it, that's for sure. But that being said, it's just it's difficult. It's difficult to say who should win this. I went with Argentina in my semifinals predictions. Now this is my final prediction. My final prediction. Or my finals prediction. My final prediction. Either way, Copa America final prediction. Brazil have a fantastic squad. Argentina have a fantastic squad. Arguably, Brazil has the better squad. And I went with Argentina. Should I change it up to Brazil? I really don't know. I'm gonna go for Argentina again for Messi to win his first ever Copa America, and as the captain of this international team, and for himself as a player, he deserves this. He definitely deserves this. And not only for him, but also for Emiliano Martinez. Think of how well he's played at this tournament. He got a slight injury just before the tournament, and now he's back, and he's played fantastically. 3 penalty saves. I'm sorry, I just can't get over that. He's an absolute hero for Argentina. He deserves this. I said it with many other goalkeepers who have just saved fantastic penalties or just have done fantastic saves throughout a tournament, and they deserve to win the tournament, or at least get far enough. But for me, I think Messi, Martinez, and so many other players just deserve to win this trophy. Either way, they progress through and they have the momentum, but so do Brazil. And I think it's going to be a hard-fought battle, but I think Argentina is going to win 3-2. Yeah, just like predicted in the semifinals. But yeah. So now that I'm done with my predictions, I think I'm just gonna be signing off. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please do like and subscribe. Hopefully my reaction to my Premier League prediction should be up soon after this, and if not, my reaction to my Euros and Copa America prediction should be out soon after the finals are complete. We'll see if I'm right, we'll see if I'm wrong, but either way, let's